Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teague. With me, like always, is the man who is nominated for every game award, Noah Bailey.
Hey,
Wouldn't it be it would be cool though, like if you did make a game and like it actually was like, you know, got recognized as something like this.
oh, dude, if I made a video game on this level, I would be so happy. But see, so it'd be amazing. I'd somehow suck at it, even though I made
Yeah.
the game. But
I made the game. I don't even know how to beat it.
they're like, "No, how do you do this?" I'm like, "Oh, I have no clue." Like, I couldn't get past level 4. They're
That's
like,
something
"What?"
I especially when it comes to people who work at Nintendo, they're just gods at their own games. Like when the Mario Kart 8 developers were like doing some showcase, they were saying like which kind of car is better, the motorcycle or the regular car, and they were like, we've tested this game so many times, we can do the exact same route every like down to the millisecond every single time. Like literally, they had a Mario riding 4 different kinds of carts, like all like on like a grid, driving the same, like the exact same, like way on the same course to a T. It's like
They're so crazy. Like, it's so crazy because like Mario Kart is like it's gotten so much bigger. Like I don't know, like at least for my run, it's gotten so much bigger. There's so much, and it's like to be that like surgical
so precise, yeah.
is like, man.
Or like Mr. Sakurai over at Smash just like he tries to be modest, but he is fantastic at it.
I mean, you don't become the head of a gigantic game, the biggest gaming corporation, probably in the world, just by being,
Yeah,
terrible. Like,
like it's so fun watching him doing the little like Smash, the like Smash reveal stuff, and like you can clearly tell he's holding back, like just not to make like when he was showing off Steve, he was like trying to be more experimental when like you knew he could just wreck people, like it wasn't. Whatever.
oh man.
But yeah, so today we will be going over the the Game Awards 2020 nominees. We've done this the past 2 years. I've been doing this in some capacity on this channel for the past 3 years. I think it's a lot of fun. So let's do it. So before we jump into that, I just want to wonder, like, because it is 2020 and there's not a lot else to do, how much gaming have you done this year?
I've played quite a bit of video games
Okay, that's
during
good.
this. I mean, like you said, there's not been a lot going on. I'm one of those people though who plays like I pick get like 5 games and just play all those games until they basically break, and
Uh,
then get new games. But I've branched out a bit this year, so there's been a lot going on. But
Good.
yeah, it's been awesome.
I haven't been doing as much as I would like, but I've been doing a lot of watching streamers play these games, so I at least have a lot of knowledge about, like, at least I've watched some gameplay of pretty much all these games. So this should be fun. And this is the first year probably since probably since 2017, honestly, where I'm like, there is not a wrong choice for the game of the year or like any of these categories. Like this year overall is not like a knockout year like 2017 was with Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, like all these fantastic games.
Every game,
Even 2018, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead,
Spider-Man, Red Dead, yeah,
like
and shoot, I forgot. There was another one I forget,
Tomb
but yeah, like
Raider.
every game was like,
Yeah, Tomb Raider, even
yeah,
Assassin's Creed was fantastic that year. Like
yeah, that's right.
those were some good years. So this year isn't as good as those, but this is the first year where I feel like I'm looking at the Game of the Year awards, like just that one category, and I'm like, there was not a wrong choice. These are all fantastic games. Like in 2017, Breath of the Wild, I'm sorry, like that was just the best game that year. One of the best games of all time. Like if I could understand it, like Persona 5 or something like that one, but like if Horizon Zero Dawn beat Breath of the Wild, there'd be a riot. It's not happening. 2018, like Red Dead Redemption just kind of felt like that game where it's like everyone just kind of for some reason agreed. Like I know it is good, but it seemed like it was kind of on that level of like everyone just kind of overrating it for no reason. You know,
It's like,
I know you
oh,
played
go
it.
ahead, go ahead.
I know you
Yeah,
played it.
no,
Like, what do you
okay.
think?
So the thing about Red Dead, the thing that made so it's just like the attention to detail in that game is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, but that doesn't
it's
make it a
like it's
good game.
basically real. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like if you leave something somewhere, it will be there 100 hours having you come back and get.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous in that game. It's so. I mean, the graphics. I mean, you feel like it's real. Like, it's just.
Mm,
It's almost to that point where and like it is, and obviously, yeah, it was super popular. It had that like recency bias because it came out like right at the end of the year.
mm.
And everyone was playing that game. I had 4 roommates. 3 of them bought the same game
Didn't you
within the first
play it?
week, and I was just
Did you
like,
buy it or did you just play it?
I didn't buy it, but because my brother already had it, so I
Okay.
felt like there
Yep.
was
There
no
it
reason to
is.
buy it twice.
Yeah.
Even though we both bought Kingdom Hearts 3, but that's a different story.
Wow. Of all
But,
games to buy twice.
okay, we didn't know. We didn't know. Okay, at the time,
Yeah.
it was a wise
Yeah.
purchase. At the time.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I mean, that game is, I mean, even now, like, I mean, that game will just go. You can just keep going. It's like,
Mm.
it's beautiful, man. Like, it is. Like, the music, everything.
Okay. I like just. I guess since I haven't actually played it, I personally felt like some of the awards it got didn't deserve like best music. I feel like
Yeah, I mean,
it has
like,
good music, but I feel there are other games that have
yeah, that's not its
better
specialty.
scores, whatever.
Yeah.
Same with Death Stranding in 2019. That game did not deserve best music because like half the music were just licensed music. Like
Yeah.
that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. Ultimate like is a collection of all the best video game songs of all time. So why should that not be in the category as Death Stranding, which just has a couple of like real life licensed songs? I feel whatever.
Like, no, I mean, I think it does, but I think maybe some people see it as unfair because, I mean, Smash, like you said, it has the best music from, I mean, how many games at this point? So, I mean,
So many.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even, like, you can't, it's like, what, thousands of tracks, right? Like,
I think we're now over 1,000 music tracks. Yeah.
yeah, like, at this point, so it's kind of just like, I mean, that's just unfair. I mean, it's basically the history of video game music up to this point versus any other individual game.
Yeah,
Like,
but like if games like GTA 5 and Death Stranding can get in those categories
yeah,
for having real music, like
yeah,
real life
that's
music,
true.
I don't know.
Yeah, especially GTA because it's kind of just like really like
Yeah, so I'm
not
glad
even.
I'm glad Death Stranding didn't win Game of the Year last year. Like my roommate thinks that the Sekiro was like one of the best games ever played. Like
Mm.
it's Dark Souls, but like a little easier, but also like challenging in other ways. Like it's just a fun game.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that won. But this year, aside from like maybe The Last of Us Part 2, but I could still see arguments for why people, I could, I haven't played it. I've seen a lot of other people have a lot of opinions about it. We'll get into that a little later. But like that's like the one game so far I'm looking at this and like that might be the one that's a little overrated. But overall, this is just a very, very solid year for games. So
it's like an argument for everyone. Yeah.
yes. Well, enough dilly dallying. Let's jump right in. So, we're gonna work from the bottom up, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Skipping all the esports stuff because I don't care. I'll watch esports, like watching championship matches of Smash or Overwatch or like even CS:GO at times. Like can be a lot of fun, but I don't care about these people. I don't care about like. There are so many esports events, so many esports categories. Best esports host, player, coach, event. Like it's too much. I'm just gonna go to the actual game part.
Wait, they have coaches?
Yes.
Wait, how? All right, I like. I love video game. I don't know that much about esports. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that they have coaches is like, I have to see this. This is insane. Like, I don't. How do you coach some like? I'm not gonna say how do you coach someone in a video game because like you can. I guess you can coach someone at anything, but I mean like, what game are they playing that you have a coach?
Like League of Legends, Overwatch, like all these teams have coaches.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense.
I don't know. I don't know quite enough about esports to understand why that's necessary. but I guess for a similar reason why it's necessary in stuff like football and basketball and stuff. But
Yeah,
like it
because like,
seems you
yeah,
can't
I mean,
like bench a player. You can't like call timeout mid game. That's not
that's
how
what I
it
was
works.
thinking. Like, you can't do a lot of coaching adjustments probably, but you can probably like coach people on their specific strategies. But I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know. I'd have to see it. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's impossible. It just sounds very impractical just
Yeah.
hearing it. But again, I don't know that much about it. I've only like you said, I watched like tournaments for like Smash and stuff. But like,
Mhm.
I've never seen like a coach like, come on, we gotta get that. Like, oh man,
Thanks.
oh man, it's like, all right, let's run play seven. Like, what? Wombo combo, everything. Like,
Yeah, that
oh man,
you get the idea as to why we're not covering the esports topics.
yeah,
So,
it's like I mean, like it's. I'm not saying it's not great. It's just not. It's not. I didn't know about it, but it is what it is.
so we're gonna start with best debut game. So this is the first game from a studio. So we have, I hope I'm pronouncing these right. Carrion, Carion.
I,
I might be Carion.
I, we'll go with it. I actually don't know.
Carion sounds cooler. I think that's like
Okay.
a you play as this weird blob thing, and you can like shoot out like parts of yourself and like absorb people. It's a blast.
That sounds awesome and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mortal Shell, which I think is a Dark Souls esque
Okay.
like classic like what there's like a name for that style of game, but I think it's Dark Souls esque. Raji the Ancient Epic, I think that's an adventure style game. There's not like much action or anything. It's just kind of like an exploration game, whatever. I know nothing about Rookie. Didn't know that game existed. Phasmophobia. Have you seen any gameplay of Phasmophobia?
I'm not.
Phasmophobia is a horror game where you
Oh,
and a group of, I
that's
think,
why.
up to 4 friends essentially play ghost hunters, where you go into a house and you try to like do things to like get the ghost to react in certain ways and like try to like I don't know if you're like trying to capture it, but you're trying to like make like uh are you trying to capture it? I don't really. I've seen some gameplay, but they usually lose. I'm not really sure what the end goal is. It's one of the games where it's more fun to watch people lose. But so yeah, like playing as a ghost hunter in this haunted house sounds like fun.
That sounds like a multiplayer horror based. Like that sounds
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Like especially if you can get picked off or something. Like
Yes. What's really cool about this game is that the AI of the ghost is connected to your microphone. The stuff you say into your microphone can interact with the ghost.
what?
Yes.
Whoa.
So
Wait,
literally,
that's some next level stuff right
literally, like
there.
you like say certain things to try to like make the ghost react in a certain way.
Dude, that's like that's next level. That's like I know PS5. It's a big thing. Like the mic's like in the controller. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
like that. Oh
But like
man.
that's the kind of next gen AI I want out of PS5 and Xbox Series, whatever. Like
Okay, yeah, that's pretty insane.
yeah. So like not like if it was just a 4 player ghost hunting experience, like that's fine by itself. But like just that alone for the studio's first game, having that kind of technology is yeah,
Yeah,
that's
super innovative too.
mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as like yeah, setting the bar for next gen. I mean,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think Karayan and Mortal Shell are also pretty just fun games to watch. Again, I know not much about these other two, but Phasmophobia I think deserves it.
I don't know, from what I've heard, that sounds like the best idea. Again, I don't really know anything about these. I'm not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, any type of multiplayer horror game. I hate horror personally, but
Mm-hmm.
as knowing generally, just I think how people like horror, I think people would love that to death,
Uh,
literally. So,
okay. So for content creator of the year, I know only Alana Pierce. That's not a very flattering picture of her. I don't know why they went with that one, but whatever. Like, there, the other four I've never seen in my life. I think there are other people on the internet that I feel deserve it more than I don't. Again, I don't know them, so but I feel like I'm in
Everyone
tune.
I
What?
good. No, good.
I feel like I'm in tune with the gaming sphere enough to have at least heard of these people before, but I personally haven't. Only Alana Pierce. But you're saying?
I don't know. Like I watch games on YouTube. Everyone I watch is not on here, so
I
that's, I
think
mean,
I think at this point it's mostly streamers.
yeah,
So
which
I'm
I
voting
get it.
Alana, but you can skip it. It's
Yeah, I'm not really.
yeah.
I mean, go for it.
Yeah. So next
Okay,
up,
here we go.
best multiplayer game. We got
Okay.
Animal Crossing. Like it's Animal Crossing. Like
Yeah.
just took the world by storm. Like I'm so glad that they actually because they've been toying with some more multiplayer aspects of Animal Crossing for a while since the Wii version. Animal Crossing New Leaf on 3DS went more in depth with that, but then this game especially like went all in on like a more like interconnected world with other people and like it's even like with local and online. It's a lot of fun. But Among Us just
I know it's like for any other category, I wouldn't say it for Among Us, but multiplayer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's not like. For me, that's not close. Among Us has
yeah,
to be the winner.
like
I just
sure, Call of Duty and Valorant, they're fun multiplayer shooters. And Fall Guys is also, a fun
Fall Guys
fun game.
is cool.
But Fall Guys was like stupid hot for like 3 weeks. And then like it was, a big sensation for like 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden Among Us, which had come out 2 years ago, just all of a sudden just people just decided to start playing it. And then more people decided to start playing it. And then American House of Representative members started playing it. Like it just like AOC in the American Congress like just tweet out like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna play Among Us tonight. Anyone want to play?" And like a bunch of famous streamers like jumped in and played with her. Like that's insane. Like that didn't happen with Fall Guys. That didn't happen with.
No.
I know Joe Biden was in Animal Crossing, but like who cares? Like
Yeah, I mean, Among Us Among Us was the game because I was multiplayer gaming for me was starting to become dead. Like I was worried it was going to start dying out.
Mm-hmm.
But games like Among Us make me feel like, all right, we can make this work. It just needs the and this idea, like, it's a great idea. It's fun for everyone. It very much can like, especially with people the game doesn't even provide all the fun. It's just trying to lie to your friends and or catch your friends in lies, and like it's amazing. It's very smart and it's simple, which gives it all the it's very anyone can figure it out in like 5 minutes.
There's one or two imposters, and there's always a set goal. Like each of the crewmates got to do their individual tasks, and the imposters had to stop them either by betraying other people or straight up killing them. Like sabotaging them, like whatever.
Great.
Like, it is kind of derivative of similar tabletop games like Secret Hitler Mafia and Werewolf.
Yeah.
But those games are also awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone loves those games. This is just the video game version, basically.
Yeah. And like it just became such a great sensation that the people making this game were making the sequel as we speak. And they were like, we were actually going to release the sequel kind of soon, but
never mind.
You
don't need it. Yeah, save those ideas. Maybe add in some updates, but save those ideas for Among Us too. Because
or even I could see at this point if it's still like a year from now, if it's still as hot as it is, just keep Among Us kind of similar to Minecraft, where it just keeps updating itself. Maybe gets better graphics over time.
Adding maybe a new map, adding a couple. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
You don't
actually,
need to make Among Us 2, just kind of keep building on this one.
And it's so good. Like it's kind of addictive. Like it's fun. It's one of those games that's just fun watching other people play too, which is big because it's just other people. It's like you see someone do something stupid and you're like, come on now, like you know they saw you, or
Uh,
like yeah, and like it's created plenty of memes.
yep.
It's taken over. It's been probably the biggest like I guess yeah multiplayer
Hmm.
game of the year.
Yeah.
I'd say hands
Like
down for me personally.
Animal Crossing and Call of Duty, they have chances to win other categories with,
Right.
but Among Us, I think this is one of two categories Among Us is actually in, and
This
I
is
think
the
it is the best in this category, so I am absolutely voting for it.
absolutely yeah. I don't know what else they're nominated for, but I mean personally, I wouldn't give them anything else but this. I mean, it's not. I mean, the music. I don't think there even is that much music. It bugs out all the time and stuff. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, as far as the multiplayer, it serves that purpose
Hmm.
great.
So yeah, next best sport/racing game. Uh,
Anything but Madden. That's all I'm gonna say.
Madden isn't
I
on
know
here.
Madden's
Madden
not even
is
up here.
Yeah, it's not on here.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it shouldn't be. That game is terrible. I love Madden and it's terrible. I look. I
uh,
have been playing Madden since Madden '04.
mm,
And I want to hit Madden with a truck. Like Madden is terrible now. Like
uh,
I hate that is the like that's like the first game. That game I didn't even like football until I started playing Madden. Then that actually got me into real football.
mm,
But Madden in the last like 5 years has been awful.
mm.
I mean, it's literally copying Control V or Control C, Control V every
Same
year.
thing
It's
with
really
FIFA, which
bad.
is on here. So,
Yeah, it's no, it's terrible. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I
oh
know they're
yeah,
not even on there, but I just want to make sure everyone knows don't buy Madden
yeah.
ever
Same
because
goes for
it's terrible.
FIFA. NBA
Yeah, I mean,
2K21, NBA 2K21. They added a thing where there are ads between, like, there's little commercial breaks
yeah,
in a video game.
yeah,
Disqualified.
no. Automatic loss. I
I
don't
already paid
care.
$60. I'm not. No.
No, that's disrespectful. And I mean, those games are. I mean, and most sports games nowadays. I know this is a lot of games, but they're just loot box games now. Like,
Mhm.
especially 2K. 2K's been doing that for a while, especially with like create your own player. You have to like. I mean, if you don't buy it, your player is going to be like terrible compared to everyone else.
Yep.
So like, you have to. It's basically pay for play. Like,
Yeah.
it's. I don't know. Sports games in general, I'm just not really a fan of
Mm.
anymore. Even though I like playing them, but. Uh,
Yeah. I am glad they kind of included racing games along in here
yes.
because there's never enough racing games to have their own category. Uh, uh, and there's usually like maybe 5 sports games a year, but like having them both together makes sense. I think it's Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, I mean, because they didn't have a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game in a long time, right?
Tony
Like, it's
Hawk
been a while.
5 came out in like 2015 or 16. It was trash.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like, why don't they just do Tony Hawk 1 and 2 again? So they did.
See what happens when you listen to your fan base?
Yeah.
It's not that hard. And
Yeah.
yeah, like the old Pro Skater games, everyone liked those games. And
Mm.
like, yeah, bring it back. And I know skateboarding isn't as big as it had been a couple of years back. Like, I remember it was huge, but like now, I mean, still, like the game, I think still has value, especially to those fans and some new ones.
Mhm. So yeah, I think Dirt 5 has a very funny name. You want to go play some Dirt 5?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all, but
Never heard of
I
F1
mean,
2020. Like they were scraping the bottom of the barrel to put stuff on here. It's Tony Hawk.
yeah, I give it Tony Hawk for sure. Definitely not. Yeah, no,
Best strategy game or
no.
sim strategy. Why are those together? That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't
Like
really.
why is
Well,
Microsoft Flight Simulator in the same category as XCOM?
yeah, I don't
That's
know.
weird.
They're kind of just throwing stuff together that kind of
Yeah.
sounds somewhat similar, which I guess that makes sense. But I mean,
I mean, I guess you want to like show representation for as many games as you can, which I appreciate. But like even if a category only has like 3 people in it, like I feel that's
right?
whatever. Uh, I heard Crusader Kings is very good. Um, I heard that Desperados 3 is also pretty solid. XCOM has been around forever, and like those are just fantastic games. I think that's an expansion, but still, Microsoft Flight Simulator is something special. Like Like you were talking about Red Dead looking like real life. Microsoft Flight Simulator is real life. Like it literally like if you're playing on high settings on a good PC, it's literally like the world as you can see it in real life. Like it's like the plane looks like an actual plane. It's insane.
That sounds awesome, but kind of makes me nervous.
Like I don't think it'd be a game that I would want to play. I just don't think it's really a game for me. Like I don't want to just fly. Like I would rather just go on Google Maps and just look at these places
Mm.
on Google Maps. I don't really see a need to fly around in a game for that. But for what it achieved, I think it's deserving of this.
All right.
Although I've heard, like I said, I heard Crusader Kings is also very good.
Yeah, it looks like it has that Game of Thrones vibe, definitely. So that's always a win, usually.
Yeah. Here's my least favorite category: best family game. The category they have just to, I don't know, like the one category usually like so like here's the Nintendo category.
Yeah.
We couldn't put Paper Mario anywhere else, so we'll just throw it here.
I mean,
And-
but you could though.
yeah, you could. Like Animal Crossing New Horizons, I feel is probably gonna win it, but Crash
Yeah,
4?
right.
Have you played Crash 4?
I have not played Crash. Okay, first of all, I am still like we still haven't beaten the 3 remastered because those games are hard. We are still on. I think the second one. I think we're almost done. Even though we did the third one first because that's the funnest one, but we're 2 out of 3 done. But I have heard Crash 4 is pretty good though.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I
haven't
heard,
heard- I
it's like not a fantastic game, but as far as like what you want out of a Crash Bandicoot game, it's pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a platformer. Like it's not super in depth and all this stuff, but I mean, it's the Crash game. It's probably good for what it is. They know what they're advertising, which is fine. And I haven't heard that. I haven't heard a ton about it, which does worry me a little bit because there was a lot more advertising going into this game than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah.
And whenever there's a lot of advertising for something when it comes out, and then you kind of just never hear about it, that's usually a bad sign.
Like there was no
But-
updates, no like accolades.
I haven't
trailer,
heard
just-
anything about this game since it came out.
Yeah. Whatever.
That worries me, but
Paper Mario Origami King. It's the best Paper Mario game since Thousand Year Door. That not saying a lot because Super Paper Mario is more of a platformer, which I really like it, but it's not the RPG style that the other Paper Mario games before it were. And then the 2 after that are very bad. So this one being better than those 2 is like an upgrade, but not where we want it to be. But it's still fun. It's just not
Right.
as good as it could be. And then Fall Guys and Minecraft, like it's Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing.
yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing is pretty awesome.
Although
So,
that Mario Kart Live home circuit does sound very interesting. I just wish I had like a place to, I wish I could feel good about spending $90 on a little RC Mario Kart.
that would be kind of cool though.
Yeah, like if I had space in my house to do it, like I have the space. I just don't have the enough like hardwood floor, mostly carpet. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Animal Crossing is gonna win that.
More than likely, yeah.
Best fighting game, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which I heard was pretty good. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter. Like I think one of those two, either Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, is gonna take it.
Probably more. I don't know. Street Fighter. I don't know. My brother's a very big Street Fighter guy, like very big Street Fighter guy. He's kind of upset with it because it's kind of going into that whole pay for play thing with characters and stuff that he hates that. So
Yeah,
I'm
Street Fighter
feeling
5
like-
has never been great. It's just never been as good as it could be.
yeah, exactly. Which is kind of why I'm kind of hesitant to give that my blessing. So, but I have heard, like you said, I have heard Mortal Kombat was pretty good. But again, I haven't heard enough about the others. Like I didn't even know there was a One Punch Man game.
The One Punch Man game, it's so you know how Saitama, his whole thing is that he beats people in one punch.
Right.
So the way if I remember correctly, the way the One Punch Man game works is that I think it's in team of either two or teams of three, and you can pick from a big roster of characters. If you put Saitama in your team, you let's just say it's a team of two. Let's say it's a team of three. So you each start with your three different characters. So after one character knocks out, another one comes in, or you can swap them mid fight. Saitama cannot be swapped into until a minute into the fight.
Oh.
If you can live a minute for one full minute, Saitama will then show up in your team and you can play as him, and then he beats him in one punch.
I like how they kept that. Like,
yes,
he actually still is One Punch Man.
If both players choose Saitama, whoever punches the other one first wins. And then it won't be a victory screen for you. The other Saitama will have a victory screen where he wakes up from a dream that he lost.
That's actually awesome. Because it could never happen.
That's just that's such a clever idea of like, how do we make a One Punch Man game where the title of the game breaks the fighting game genre to make it work? Like, you got to be good enough in this fighting game to live long enough to win. Like that.
I need to. Oh man, I need to watch this game. It sounds awesome.
I don't think fighting game wise, I don't think it's good enough to actually be the best fighting game. I even think Under Night and Birth is a better fighting game because it's very similar to those Naruto or One Piece or even the Dragon Ball Z fighting games where it's fine, but it's not it's nothing really that special. But I'm gonna give it to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Although One Punch Man is still very flashy, it just doesn't feel the same as other fighting games.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm checking some footage out right now. It looks pretty. The graphics look pretty good.
Yeah,
a lot better than I was expecting.
Okay, so best role-playing game.
Okay, here we
got
go.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, which is a mobile game that's like a Breath of the Wild clone type thing with RPG elements. It's interesting. I couldn't really get into it, but people that have played it say they really like it. But it's interesting. Persona 5 Royal, which is essentially an updated version of Persona 5, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Which I love it when games do this, where if a game has a different name in Japan and in America, where one of the entries is for example, Resident Evil in Japan, the name of Resident Evil games in Japan is called Biohazard, so Biohazard 1, 2, Revelation, etc. So Resident Evil 7 was called Resident Evil Biohazard. So in Japan it was called Biohazard Resident Evil.
I see what they did there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Yakuza in Japanese means like a dragon, or something like that, or something similar to like a dragon. So essentially, it's Yakuza.
But you'd have to be bilingual to say it that way, I guess.
And also, usually Yakuza games are they're 3D beat 'em ups. They're very showboaty, very anime-esque, but they're still beat 'em ups. Whereas Like a Dragon is a turn-based RPG, and it works for some reason. I think Final Fantasy VII gets it.
Yeah, I was going to go, but Final Fantasy VII is first of all, Final Fantasy in general is known from having some of the best storylines, period of just any games at all.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy VII is like top shelf in that category by
Mm.
itself. So I think, in terms of the story, which I will say, they have changed a lot of the story. Well, not changed, but they have added more because they're trying to spread it out, kind of because the
Mm.
original on PS1 was like 4 discs, so they're kind of
Right.
trying to do the same kind of idea here with like multiple parts, but like so they've expanded it, and like the first part is an added. It's like this is like an hour in the original, but it's like 10 hours now. But it's still very much done well. The characters have their same personalities intact. I mean, the guy everyone was immediately recognizable. I was like, oh, that's exactly like they act the same, and the story is still very good. The whole internal conflict, plus also trying to save the world and all this, like, it's very awesome. I think
Mm.
it's. I don't even like my brother's about bigger into Final Fantasy than I am, but even I had to be like this.
Yeah.
This thing
Just
is
even just
awesome.
visually, it's stunning.
Oh, this game is beautiful.
Yeah. I know my roommate loved Persona 5 Royal especially, but
Mm.
I think I got to go. Like Final Fantasy 7 remake has been a thing people have been, just wanting for decades, and now it's
It's
here.
been a while.
I wish we could have got again. I wish we could have just gotten all of Final Fantasy 7 all at once, but whatever.
Well, Square has to make. They can't make the full game right when you want it. They
Sure.
have to
Gotta be,
string it
Square's got to be
out. And,
Square.
yeah, Square's gonna square.
Mm.
Is that how it is?
Best
But yeah.
action adventure game. So, Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Hmm.
Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Which have you played that yet?
I have not. I want to, but I
Mm.
also am kind of like, do I drop the 60 now or 50 now?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
believe
only 50.
Yeah, I think it's 50 because it's like it's on PS4. I think it's only 50 just because like next gen it's more expensive. But
Mm.
I didn't like I want to get it, but I don't want to get it yet just because I don't know. I feel like it's gonna go down a good bit, but I mean, but those games just came, like that and Assassin's Creed just came out.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like that's kind of
The people that are on the voting board have had these games for like at least a couple of weeks now for reviewing purposes.
yeah, that's true.
So they've
That's true.
yeah, like I'm
But
pretty sure
still,
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is out. I think it came out when the PS5 dropped.
yeah, they came out like earlier last week or something
Mm.
like that.
So
But
they're out and there, but uh, it is interesting that it would be kind of interesting if Miles Morales won, even though like Ghost of Tsushima and Jedi Fallen Order have been out for
yeah,
so much longer. Even Last of Us, like yeah, like they might be better games, but we haven't had a chance to really play them yet.
yeah,
But
that's kind of my thing with like of the year stuff because it's like this game that's been out for 10 months loses out recency bias based on this game that just came out. And it's
Jedi
kind of
Fallen
like,
Order released the day the last Game Awards started their nomination
yeah,
process. So
exactly.
like it just couldn't be nominated that year, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, and now it's been so long, people kind of forgot about Jedi
Mm,
Fallen Order. Like I even I had it, I kind of forgot about
yeah,
it. So like,
I got it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and again, it's fun. It's really awesome.
Mm.
Anytime you can have a lightsaber for anything, it's great. But I
Oh.
like how it's not just slash your way through everything.
Mm.
It's a lot of like parrying.
Yeah,
There's a
it's very
lot of
Dark
more
Souls
things.
esque, and that I think that
Yes,
works.
exactly. It's an easier version of Dark, which you can make it harder.
Yeah.
Believe me, you can make it hard. But no, it's very yeah. It does kind of have like a dark side, and there's a lot of different types of enemies. It's Star Wars, so you're not just fighting
Mm.
troopers. You're fighting all types of monsters. There's one I don't like Kashyyyk because Kashyyyk has a bunch of spiders. I don't do
Right.
spiders, but other than that, it's pretty awesome.
uh.
But yeah, I mean, but as far as like the best action game, I think I feel like I can't. I don't know. I haven't played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It looks very very awesome.
Yeah.
I like recently got into Assassin's Creed as a whole, so
Mm.
like I could see that winning. But I don't know. And also Ghost of Tsushima, like the gameplay I've seen looks pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie. So this is gonna be a tough one.
I'm giving it to Jedi Fallen Order because that's the one that I've played. But
That's
any of
fair.
these, even like Ori the Will of the Wisp,
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
even.
I like all of these are fantastic. Like again,
Yeah.
like even Last of Us Part Two, which I feel is probably my least favorite just from what I've seen on this. Like I could easily still see why people just adore it. So like I'm not
Mhm.
saying there's a wrong choice at all here. Like this could easily just be the game of the year lineup. Like it's
Yeah,
like they're
I
that
mean,
good.
yeah. And I think if Jedi Fallen Order had to come out at a better, more favorable time, I think it'd be more in that conversation.
Mm,
But yeah, because again, it still had a really good. I mean, it also had a good story. The surprise at the end was very much, like, oh shoot, like
oh yeah.
it was pretty great. But yeah, I think I don't know. I might have to give it to Ghost of Tsushima though, just from what I've seen, because it
Okay.
looks pretty ridiculous. Like the
Yeah.
the whole like they really go in on the like ninja art type, ninja samurai like whole thing. Like
Mm.
you immerse yourself in that world. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's just a more unique experience in my opinion.
So best action, which is different than best action adventure. I feel they could have a better title, but this is best action.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal, Hades, which is a roguelike where you essentially throw yourself at bosses over and over again until you win and then go to the next boss. And if you lose to that boss, you go back to the first one and then just kind
Ooh.
of go until you beat the whole game, which
Oh wow.
I don't like those kinds of games, but this one looks it's just fun to watch people play. Just kind of over time and get better at different bosses until they eventually
Right.
win. It's just fun
And
to
it
watch.
forces you to get better at the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also pretty important.
Oh yeah. Half Life Alex, which is not Half Life 3, but it's the closest thing we'll ever get. So,
Is that ever gonna happen?
no, no. We will get Half Life 4 before Half Life 3 comes out. It's true.
uh, makes no sense.
Yeah, Half Life Alex. Neo 2, which is another Dark Souls esque clone thing. It's not as fun or good, but it's there. And then Streets of Rage 4, 2D beat 'em up. It's just the same as the '90s classic beat 'em up style games. Like it's just a return to form of that style, and it's great. I would give it to Doom Eternal. Like I loved the first Doom. I uh, I think this game just improves upon it in almost every single category. The story is better, the action's better. Just the fact that when you fall into lava or just fall off a cliff, you respawn with less health as opposed to just losing a life. I think that's just so much
That is
better.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, like I know it's easier, but I don't mind. I
Yeah, I mean it's more just like I don't know. I have to see. I'm not in. I haven't seen most of these games,
mm,
but Doom I have seen,
yeah,
and bro,
just having the grappling hook, being able to like jump from different enemies, like having different unique takedowns, like it's just a lot of fun.
yeah, it's a lot of innovation to an already really great idea.
Mm. Moving on, best accessibility. Um, I'm not sure how or why these count. I know that both Assassin's Creed and Last of Us have accessibility options. I'm not sure what exactly they do. I just know that I've heard a lot of people say Last of Us Part 2 is great for people who don't usually play games. So I'll give it to that one. I guess.
Sure, I
Like,
get. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Some of these categories, I know they have descriptions, but some of these categories, I'm kind of like, what does that mean?
yeah. Like, I am actually pretty grateful that they do highlight these innovations in the industry. Like, people who can't play games before now are now allowed to play them because of the way these games are made. Like I love that,
Hmm.
but I just haven't played them or don't know enough about them to understand why. But it's great that they are doing it. So
Yeah.
cool. Best VR. Uh, let's see. Dreams, Half Life, Iron Man, Star Wars Squadron,
Doctrine.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I gotta. I mean,
Yeah, I don't even know how good the game actually is, but it's Star Wars. So I'm going for it.
just because it's Star Wars. I mean, hey.
I'm not gonna say like I'm gonna skip this category, but best community support. I'm just gonna give it to No Man's Sky. I think that game just fell out of the gate hard. Like didn't people hated it out of the gate. So the fact that it did like was able to come back in the have this resurgence in the way that it has is very impressive, and I think we got to give it props for that.
Yeah.
Now if my computer will stop being dumb. Okay, here we go. You did a weird thing where it like backed me out of the page. Hang on, where were we? Where? Okay.
We're on
Best mobile game.
Yeah.
We got Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legend of the Pokemon Cafe Mix. Not that one, Among Us.
I'm giving it to Among Us, just like we said earlier. I mean, again, I like for what it accomplished and how big it's become, easily. I mean, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But
like I said, Genshin Impact is kind of fun to watch. My brother plays a lot of Pokemon Cafe Mix. It's just a fun kind of mindless gacha game, but like it's cute. Call of Duty Mobile is Call of Duty, but on the mobile phone. Like it's impressive what it does, but it's Among Us. Best indie. Carrion. I'm sticking with that. Fall Guys, Hades, Spelunky 2, Spiritfarer. I don't know much about that one. Spelunky 2 is a kind of fun adventure shooter thing. I talked about Hades, and then
yeah, I mean, I do like the idea. I will admit, I like the idea of like the whole like you have to like progress with Hades, so you have to progress through the same boss. I think that is a very creative and innovative. I know that's not necessarily a new idea, but I think bringing it back is a very creative choice.
But it's new. It's not really new, but it's like it's cool in the way they've done it because the characters are so unique and fun. Just to like even though you see this character interact with these bosses over and over again, just the fact that the main character is so likable. I think it drives it so well. So I think from what I've seen, like I said, I haven't played it. It's not my kind of game, but I love watching people play it. So I think it's Hades.
Okay.
Best ongoing game, again, I'm going to give it to No Man's Sky. Like, just the fact that it was able to have this resurgence over just, 5 years after just tripping over the gate. Like, I think it deserves it.
Yeah, you're not going to give it to Fortnite.
Not this time. No.
Oh my god, Fortnite, they pretty much put like every Marvel character in Fortnite.
And some DC characters. Batman and Joker.
Yeah.
It's weird, yeah.
Are you serious? Oh,
yeah.
Man. Why?
I don't know. It's insane. I played it for like a couple of months and then just haven't picked up again. I just don't. I don't know. It's not for me. Yeah. Next up is one of those other categories where like I don't know what this means, but good for them for doing it, I think. Games for Impact.
Okay, it's like I guess like a social thinking games, I guess. Interesting.
Like pro-social meaning and message, like that's cool. I don't know what
I didn't know
games
there
do
were
or
games
why.
for that.
I've heard a lot of good things about Tell Me Why. I've just heard that name, like that game title a lot. So I'm going with that one. Don't know why, but it's what I'm picking.
I have never actually.
None of those games I've really seen much about.
No.
Okay. Best performance. Ashley Johnson as Ellie. Laura Bailey as Abby, both from Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is that guy from Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not going to try butchering that.
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Logan Cunningham, I can say that name. Hades from Hades. Or Najee
Jeter.
As
I
Miles
think that's
Morales.
right.
Didn't he play Miles in? Is it the same guy who played him in PS4 Spider-Man?
I feel
I
like
assume it probably is.
probably.
Yeah. I think so. Ashley Johnson is one of those actresses that like she's just kind of in a lot of stuff. She's in Ben 10. She played Gwen in Ben 10 Alien Force. Like,
Nice.
for her voice, just in a lot of different stuff. I think. Like Laura Bailey is one of the top tier. Like she's not as quite as prolific as someone like a Nolan North, but what's the other Troy Baker? Like not quite to that level, but she's like
Yes, the same guy.
she is still like in the same tier, Actually, I think she plays Black Widow in the Avengers game, along with those other two characters
Okay.
playing other people. Like, I think I'm gonna go with Ashley Johnson. Like all these people did fantastic, but the one thing I do actually really really like about Last of Us Part Two is Ellie's acting and just overall performance. So I think it's gonna go with that one.
Yeah. I think that's a really overlooked industry. Like the like performance of video game characters as video games become basically movies,
Mm-hmm.
interactive movies. I think that's really cool.
Okay. Next up, best audio design.
Okay, so can I? Okay, I know this. I know that has this here, but like, how is this different from like best music?
I think so. Best soundtrack is the specific songs that are in the game. Best audio design is how the music and just the sounds of the world are used.
Okay,
So, like,
okay, that doesn't make sense. So like sound effects versus like the score.
yes,
Okay, that
like
makes sense.
Resident Evil having the more atmospheric, like, hearing Nemesis like around a corner and like knowing where he is, like just kind of that being built up. Doom Eternal, just the way the music interacts with the uh, like as more villains or as like more enemies like coming on the screen, the music like, gets bigger and bigger, and as you take them out, it like kind of fluctuates with that. I think that's always really cool when that happens. Last of Us Part Two, the music in that game is pretty solid. Uh, this is like generally, I think this is it's a pretty solid like group of games for this category. I'm gonna give it to Doom Eternal just because I said I love the sounds of all the different demons. They all sound like distinct. The way the music
Yeah, I
is
think.
incorporated in, like I think that's what I'm going
Yeah, and
with.
that's important too. I think that's a good job.
Best score in music, um,
All right.
it's Final Fantasy VII, right?
Okay, man. Like he's just like my brother, like my brother's room across the hall. He'll
Mm.
just be playing the like, and I'm just like hearing this music, just like going to the bathroom. I'm just like,
So
dude,
good.
that is beautiful. Like it's just like,
Oh, I just
oh, that, like it's not even like the like serious. It's like just the like free roam music
yeah,
half
just
the
like the
time. It's
town
just
music
like,
is fantastic. Yeah,
yes,
which makes me
it's
wonder why are there only two songs from this game in Smash Bros. Oh my goodness, it's so dumb.
you'll be doing that forever.
Like the one song that would make Smash a perfect 10. It's already like a 9.999. If it were a perfect 10, if they put One Winged Angel in Smash, perfect 10 game.
Great song. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
there's so many good songs in that.
Like the
I
battle music
can't.
is good, but I don't want to only hear that song.
Yeah, no, that music's nice, but like just the like that's the more iconic, but like not so much like just like tears from your eyes music.
Yeah.
Like,
So
oh,
it's seven.
I can't even.
It's seven.
Yeah, it's all right.
Best art direction is the category I hate the most because every single year they have like one game that is actually has a good art style.
Hmm.
One game that has like a unique, cool art style. And then the rest of them are like realistic style games. Like for example, here we have Hades, which looks more like a comic book, or Ori the Will of the Wisps, which is actually very stylized. Even FF7 is like more anime styled. And then Last of Us Part 2 just tried to look like a real life, like a real movie. That's going to win. Every single year, that kind of game wins.
Hmm.
And I hate that. Even though Ori and the Will of the Wisp is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen, Last of Us is going to
Still,
win.
yeah, because it's just I feel like it's one of those categories they just kind of like slap the best, their favorite game,
The best
whatever, on
game, yeah.
anyway. Yeah, it's just like, oh, this is the best game, so it just looks the best. It's like not really how that
even
works.
even
So.
though Ghost of Tsushima has a filter that makes it look more like more like a classic samurai movie.
Right?
Like that is
Like
awesome.
yeah, and that's more art than just
Yeah.
oh, it looks real, you
Yeah.
know?
That is literally art directing. They had to make
Yeah.
they had to make a sec like I don't think they had to make the game a second time, but they had to put actual effort into putting this filter over every frame of this game.
Hmm.
That's to my opinion, more impressive than just making a game look realistic. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and like because I mean, as like technology, as graphics just naturally progress. Yeah, games that are supposed to be set in like real people or live action or whatever are gonna just get better. But like I think that that's I don't think making it look. I'm not gonna say not making it look real as an art, but like it's not. I don't think that's the same thing as like making a specific art choice
Mm,
to like have a filter or like making a game look like something else, kind of.
yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I think I'm gonna give it to Ghost of Tsushima. It does try to look semi-realistic, but it has its own unique kind of art style to it. Plus those other filters. I think it has a black and white mode too, which actually uses it effectively, unlike something from a different episode of the
Burn.
podcast. It might come up before, it might come out after. Well,
You'll
get
know
it.
when you
You'll
know.
get it. Yeah. I'm getting to Ghost of Tsushima. Best narrative. Um, I've never heard of 13 Sentinels. Probably good. I don't know.
Looks kinda
Uh,
cool.
I heard Ghost has a pretty solid story. Hades, like I said, it's like the story and characters drive you to keep getting better at the game. But it's between Final Fantasy and Last of Us.
I'm gonna personally pick our Final Fantasy. But did we already have this category or
No,
like a similar?
that's
No.
kind of also a big problem with the Game Awards is that after a certain point for the important categories, it's like the same 6 games over and over again.
That's what I was feeling. It's like I feel like we kind of are like it was best role playing, so like obviously it's different. But like I don't know, it's kind of like if a game is a role playing game and is also the best like never mind, that doesn't make sense. But like
Yeah,
I don't know, it just kind of like I don't know, this narrative kind of feels like in the same running. Well, no,
so here's my logic for why I'm actually going to pick Last of Us. I
okay,
personally don't love the story. I think it kind of I don't have enough time. I haven't like followed it enough as of recently to like my thoughts aren't really fresh on it. I can't like go in depth as to why I don't love it as much as I feel like I should. I feel it just kind of flubs a couple of things here and there. I feel it takes a lot of choice away from you when like
hmm
you could still have a bad ending if you did a certain thing, but like it just completely taking the choice away from you was weird. But like that was the point of the story for certain things to happen a certain way, so I get it. So even though like I don't love it, it still has a very deliberate and effective story. So there's that. Also, Final Fantasy VII is like a third of the full Final Fantasy VII
that's true.
story.
That is true.
What was it in right after Jesse dies or something? Do you even fight Sephiroth in that game?
I'll be honest. My brother. I don't think my brother's got to the end of it yet,
Okay.
so I have
Well,
no idea. I
it's
mean,
not the entire Final Fantasy VII. Like,
right?
I don't even think like the Final Fantasy VII thing happened yet.
Not like the
You know what I'm
main
saying?
thing.
Like,
I'm
I don't
saying.
think
Probably not.
that scene happened yet,
Probably not.
or
But still, I mean,
the
like,
story up to the point is very good. I get that, but
yeah.
I just feel like if it were the complete package, absolutely that one. But
Right.
I
I
think
do see, and I see your point also. I guess my thing with my Vance is like, though they did have to extend the like smaller part that they chose. I think the points they chose to expand on were like good, and like like if they introduced different characters, they introduced them. They were like they weren't horrible. They were just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But like they were still about the Cloud. It's still about Barrett. It's still about the main characters.
yeah,
But it's I still think it's done really well, and they're I like it. But I mean, hey,
yeah,
it
whatever.
is each their own.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do Last of Us Part Two. I think it's
Fair
it's
enough.
gonna win anyway, so might as well just go for it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII is a very close runner-up.
Yeah.
Best game direction. Essentially, what I've noticed is that even if for something like in 2018, Red Dead swept almost every category, even if it shouldn't have,
Yeah.
but God of War won Best Game Direction. That apparently that category supersedes all others. God of War won Game of the Year.
Real.
Yeah.
God of War did win Game of the Year. I do remember that. I was
I
like,
think it deserves it. I think it deserved it.
yeah, I'm not saying it was like I'm not saying it was wrong. I think there was multiple games of the year that year, but I do remember being like honestly surprised God of War won
Oh yeah,
Game
I
of the
was.
Year.
I
That was like my
surprised because
third
it
pick.
swept every category. Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of just like, there's no way. I was like, no,
Mm,
they're not gonna get it. I was like,
yeah.
really? Because like, yeah, Red Dead was like everything, and then like we had just gotten off the Spider-Man hype. And,
Mm.
that I was just like, Red Dead, like God of War, and I got because God of War was back in like I think like April that year or
April
something
or
like
yeah,
that.
April I think of that
Yeah, it
year.
was like way earlier that year. So
Mm.
like I was thinking, people have short memories. They're probably gonna all forget about God of War. They did
It's
not.
that good of a game, yeah. Yeah, same thing happened last year with Sekiro. Like, Death Stranding won almost every category, even Best Art Direction. I don't think it should have, whatever. It won every category, but Sekiro got Best Game Direction, so it won. Like, if so, whatever game wins Best Game Direction, that's the that's the game that's gonna beat it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which one are you voting for here?
I again because the decision to split Final Fantasy into 3 or 4 parts is so weird to me. I don't think I can give it to that one. I just feel like that decision. I feel like it would have. I don't know. Since we haven't had the full story, I'm not sure how much the statement is going to be true. But I feel like if we just gotten the full package in one big game, even if it did come out years from now, it would be the full like one big full game. I think I could easily say that one, but because it was split up, I don't know if I can, in good conscience, give it to Final Fantasy VII, even though it is a great game. Me personally, I feel like that kind of. I feel like I have to take away some points for that weird decision. Does that make sense?
That's fair. I don't know. Honestly, yeah, I'm not. Honestly, I think since game direction, I kind of like. I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima kind of feels. I don't know, because like
Mm-hmm.
it's a very unique kind of like I haven't really we haven't really had a game like this really that I can think of lately.
Yeah,
But
not like I love the samurai aesthetic. I feel there should be more games like this, and if
yeah,
I think.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't done like an Assassin's Creed like
Oh, oh,
Samurai.
you were talking my language. Like, oh my god. They went with Vikings before samurais. Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, go to be fair. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima did just come out, so I kind of see why maybe they're like give it a little bit.
I don't. Or
But
ride the zeitgeist along with Sekiro. Sekiro is also a samurai style game. Like,
yeah, that's true.
whatever. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's there. I don't know. I feel like they kind of. I don't know. I feel like with Assassin's Creed, they kind of. There's a lot of avenues they can go, and they weren't really hitting them. I think Vikings is the first kind of like, you know what? Let's just go for it. Because
yeah.
like I know they're like they start out as kind of mostly just like Europe and stuff like that, and
Mm,
then like they do the Revolution, which is kind of cool, but like apparently that game wasn't that great. And then they did Pirates, and everyone loves
oh yeah.
Pirates, which it's Pirates, so yeah, that's great. And then I feel like they kind of just kind of
Tread
okay,
water for
yeah,
a while, and then they went to ancient
yeah,
Egypt, and everyone was like, "This is
yeah,
we want more stuff like this." So they went to ancient Greece, and then
yeah. Like I feel like that's
that's
kind
yeah.
of yeah, just kind of go to different areas that people want. Stay away from I mean the old west because we already got Red Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much that's it. Like
Yeah.
kind of just pick different cool time periods and go for it.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I think Sekiro. Sorry, I think Ghost of Tsushima. I think they deserve it.
I think so too.
I think Last of Us is gonna win. I feel like Last of Us is that game that's gonna win all these categories, even though it maybe doesn't deserve it, but like it's still a solid game.
Yeah,
I think Ghost of Tsushima. I think it should
I
win.
think in terms of game direction, I think Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima should win.
So
But
now the big boy game of the year. We
oh
got
boy,
Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing, and Last of Us.
oh man,
It's so weird. Like Animal Crossing, was in like no categories aside from best family game and multiplayer, and then all of a sudden it's just here. I find that
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and I think it's funny too. Is just kind of like, in terms of like actual like sales and everything, like Animal Crossing is just like
It's it even
wiping the
though even
floor.
though there are over 100, I think 114 million uh, PS4s out there. Animal Crossing still sold more than Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2 combined. There's half the install base of the Switch and there's PS4. Blew them both out of the water. Like, how does that happen?
Because And everyone who not everyone who buys a PS4 bought Ghost of Tsushima, but everyone who has a Switch bought Animal Crossing.
Yes,
I think, and that's the thing. It's the
exactly.
percentages, man. Like, oh
Like I don't think it's a better game than these others. I think it has its own niche. It is doing its own unique thing that there's a lot of effort put into it, but not the same kind of effort that's put into the
man.
voice acting and the directing of these other bigger games. Like I think it deserves just the zeitgeist that is Animal Crossing deserves to be recognized in this lineup. But I don't think it necessarily deserves Game of the Year. But it should be talked about here.
Yeah,
Um,
right, it is rightfully in the conversation, which
yes,
I think is the right
yes.
choice. But oh man,
Like
this is hard.
I love Doom Eternal. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake has a very good shot of it's obviously the best RPG of the year. I think it has some of the best music of all time. Period. Like these characters are so likable and great. The story is fantastic, although it is split into multiple parts. Like I think it has a pretty good shot. Hades, like we've already said, that's just the very not unique, but it's done this style of it. The style of game that it is done in a way that's seems to be better than other roguelikes before it. So I think it deserved to be in this category. Last of Us Part Two, I think, just the gameplay and the story, I think are both better than the first Last of Us, which I already was, which I like the first Last of Us, and I think it's a bit overrated. The story is fine. The gameplay is fine. I think people hype it up a little too much, but it is very good. I think this game did expanded on those a little, even better. Um, I don't think flawlessly, but they chose a direction with the story, and I think nailed it for what they were going for. I don't agree with the decision, but for what they were going for, I think it was very good. But I think Ghosts of Tsushima, I think overall is the best game.
And that's kind of what I was kind of getting to. It's like, in terms of everything together, and it's also in terms of just this year, like how what game this year came out surprise, not surprised you, but came out, which stood apart and was this, it's not it's like a lot of games you can kind of they kind of mesh together with how they're playing, like a lot of shooter games and a lot of games kind of mesh together, but
Mm,
there's no other game this year you're playing like Ghost of Tsushima.
exactly.
And that's
Uh,
kind of the point.
yeah, it didn't uh, it didn't sell the best. It still sold pretty well, but it's not going to sell as much as even Last of Us. I think my personal favorite game of the year so far is, at least that's on this list, is Doom Eternal. I think that game is fantastic. It hits every button that I like out of a video game. The music is great. The characters, the main character is just you feel so powerful playing as him. All the different enemy types are so good. Um, but I think Ghost of Tsushima. I think that is just the kind of game that I feel should deserve it this year. Yeah.
I agree. But still,
Yeah.
you never
I
know.
think Last of Us is gonna actually win. I think Animal Crossing is a sleeper hit. I think there's a chance that it just all of a sudden could win for no reason. It's just that kind of game that just because it is on this list, it easily could win for just because it exists in this category. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's here, it's like, oh, let's all vote for it
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now. Yeah.
All the story and the art direction, everything about the music is great about these other games. I just love I just love Animal Crossing, and they all vote for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, we'll see. I mean, I actually am kind of interested to see who wins, but
Mm.
again, I think our pick. I think a lot of like you said, I think Last of Us is gonna just get a lot of It's like the brand name. It kind of just gets stuff
Yeah.
just because, even though it may not fit the category. But like you said, I think like you said, with what is it, art direct or game
Game
direction
direction
is
is
the
the one
word.
that
Yeah,
usually wins.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Ghost of Tsushima wins game direction, I think it'll it'll take home game of the year. And I think it is. It's like I think it's a little bit of a sleeper, but I think that might be honestly the best move.
Like, what was I gonna say? Last of Us Part Two is generally just a very divisive game for a lot of different stupid reasons. Reasons I'm not gonna go into right now. Not just for the story, but like there's a couple other elements in it. But like, I wouldn't be mad if Last of Us won. I would completely understand why. Like, the people that love it just absolutely love it. The people that hate it for just reasons that aren't because of the gameplay or story. It's because of other like things that gamers like to complain about in games. It's nothing. The game itself is not for a good reason, essentially. So
Hmm.
if Last of Us won, I would not complain at all. If any of these games won, like I wouldn't be mad. Like I think this is just a great, just very solid year overall for games. So,
Yeah. Gotta love it, right?
yeah. So yeah. Who do you think is going to win Game of the Year? Are there any games on the here that you think should have been recognized but didn't? Like for example, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition wasn't in the best RPG, even though that like Xenoblade Chronicles is considered at least among Nintendo fans as the best RPG of all time, or at least like up at like top five. Yet it just wasn't here.
Just not even mentioned.
Even though a remake, like a not remake, but like a redo of Persona 5 was here. So
But it is Persona 5, though. No, I'm just kidding.
I know Persona 5 is fantastic, but like, why is that, but not Xenoblade?
It
Anyway,
supersedes that for
yeah.
kind of a reason that's kind of feels like sliding it just for like a rehash of something that's already been here. And
Yeah.
I think I already won that category before, right?
I have no idea. I don't even know if this type of thing was around back in 2010.
Fair enough.
So, so yeah. So yeah, give your thoughts on all of this down below, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.